Welcome to this edition of Meet Your Commissioner, but today you're going to meet your mayor. I'm your host, the Reverend Dr. L. Ronald Durham, Community Relations Manager for the City Gorgeous, Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm so delighted that you're tuned in. Welcome to the program, Mayor Henry. How are you today?
Fabulous. Thanks for having me.
It is so good to have you on the program. So, Mayor, just sit back, relax. I've got a few questions for you. I know that your constituents out there are keen to hear what you have to say about a lot of the initiatives and projects going on in Daytona Beach. So let's start with the one that I think is going to be near and dear to you, and that's you've been mayor since 2012. So what are your priorities and what are the accomplishments that you're most proud of?
Well, I tell you, it's really issues that relate to our quality of life and our infrastructure. Very proud of Orange Avenue, what we've been able to do in downtown in terms of infrastructure. The New River Front Park, which is the Esplanade, partnering with Hyde and C.C. Brown is a beautiful addition to our community. Orange Avenue is another major infrastructure project. And then each year, you know, we've been able to double the budget for roads, and I know those are not the things that people like to hear so much, but I'm very proud of that. In our parks, we've been able to renovate, you know, probably half of our parks, full renovation, just brand new. You see what we've been able to do recently at the Dickerson Center, the completion of YSG, which is over 10 years ago, was a major addition to our park system. So I hate to say it, and it's not about me, it's about the commission and the staff and the residents who pay taxes and who allow us to make decisions on their part or in light of them in this democracy that we live in, where they allow us to represent. But the reality is we've had a lot. I mean, we've added One Daytona, Tanger outlets, facilities like, or businesses like Trader Joe's, all of which the city had a major part in. And our tax base has greatly increased and improved because of the businesses that we brought, not just the residents. So they're just, I would just say, I think the quality of life, and you know, when I ran first, my goal was to try to, my vision is to make Daytona Beach worthy of the dreams of our children. And I think when you add a better, more dynamic community that looks better, looks more welcoming, more vibrant, and then you add things to do. You think about all of the things that we have now for kids to do that we didn't have before. Dave and Buster's, to name one that my children love. Game time, and you know, we have some golfing venues that are set to come to Daytona Beach. So it's that part I love talking about, and I could go on and on. But quality of life, I think, has been enhanced in our infrastructure.
Absolutely. And you're right, the parks are really, they've come to life in many cases. Joe Harris Park, Collins Park, so many great things going on in the city right now. Recently, the City Commission had a strategic planning session. And can you share with us some of the goals that came out of that planning session?
Yeah, and these have been sort of ongoing, but each year you want to sort of like renew your nuptials or your vows or your commitments, things that are important to you as a commission, and therefore city staff and city manager are asked to push these things forward. Number one, and it's been the case for a while, has been affordable housing.
Big one,
and workforce housing with a focus on diversifying the product. We always want to be sure that we have home ownership as a priority, but you also want to be able to add greater rental properties that are more affordable for residents. And then we want to continue to improve upon our infrastructure, roads, utilities, flooding, and what happened with the storms of last summer and last fall, still a priority and will be in the foreseeable future. When you look at Midtown and the fact that Midtown has been flooding since the 40s, we've done some things, but we have much more work to do. And then increased activities, purposeful focus on our youth and young people, which is always a way to help abate crime is giving young people something to do.
Yeah, if they're not hanging out on the street and they have structured activity, it makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
With that being said, Mayor, you've had a keen interest in as a school administrator. Literacy has been one of the top priorities for you. And the literacy initiative that was developed for school-age children, can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Well, we have what's called the Mayor's Literacy Initiative, and the objective is to influence students when they're outside of school. Because a lot of times kids, especially when they're in more marginalized, economically depressed households, when they're out of school, books are closed.
Yeah.
So we have supported a litany of initiatives and efforts to make certain that that doesn't happen. One has been, we've had the Mayor's Boot Camp for math and reading, which my wife runs a program that she has created called the Math Party. And in the last 2 summers, our students have had an opportunity to learn multiplication through math, dance, and exercise. And that helps to keep them prepared for school when they're out. We've had reading initiatives in our summer camps where I go around and different members of the staff and we read to the children in the summer camps. We have had at our summer camp this summer at Schneble Center where our students became authors. They worked on a book that they collaborated together and they all wrote portions of the book. And so, you know, many of them as young as 6, 7, 8 years old through 12, 13 are now published authors.
Awesome.
I was most pleased with what we were able to do at the Midtown Center. We had a debate club where students actually learned the skill of debate. And I was there for their first formal debate. And now we are starting the Daytona Beach Debate Club, which we want to continue to teach them how to agree to disagree and how to argue their points in a professional way. And to see that, it was just a thing of beauty. Then we have little libraries at all of our schools or at all of our community centers where we keep the library centers stocked. Kids can just walk up and take a book of their choosing. And then we do ask them to bring books back. And so there's just literacy is a priority because when your citizens and your young people are literate, they become better citizens and better adults and better able to contribute to our democracy.
Oh, absolutely. Mayor, the one thing I think residents in Daytona Beach can say is there's always something to do in the city every single day of the week. You talked about some of the things for the youth, but there's a lot of things adults can do. In fact, there's over 30 different programs that are being offered throughout the city. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah, over 30 programs, and they just have such a great variety. There's something for everyone to enjoy during their leisure time. From game night to Kung Fu, our senior oasis I know we have a senior oasis center for seniors that meets once a week at the Schneble Center, at the Dickerson Center, at the Midtown Center, and at YSG. You can find a program in any of those community centers. I believe there's one other center. Cypress Aquatic Center. My kids learn to swim there, and they still go back for refresher courses. One of 2 aquatic centers in Daytona Beach is home to several programs, including Aqua, Zumba, Swim League, and the USRP swim team. To view programs, again, you can visit us at codb.us.
And Mayor, you recently developed it's called the Youth Advisory Board. Can you share with the residents a little bit about that initiative?
Well, I believe in youth leadership. You know, I learned in the church and in this community how to lead and how to follow, how to listen, how to speak publicly. And so I believe that we have to give our youth opportunities to access city government, to give their voice to the city manager, to their commissioner, and to myself as mayor. And so several years ago, I went to a mayor's summit out in California where they taught us how to engage and how to start youth advisory initiatives. And so we've worked, and it's been a labor of love until we got it massaged, and we're able to develop and design something that we think is good for our community. But our young people will have access to city staff to learn how city government works, and then they will be able to tell us what they see and what they need and what they believe in, and ultimately and what they want to see from their city. But ultimately, I would like to have them also volunteer to learn the value of citizenship. How do I participate in my community? How do I make it better? How do I volunteer? How do I serve? How do I listen to older people? And how, because I believe that our community centers have to have the seasoned, the middle-aged, and the young engaging together so that we can all partner to make Daytona Beach better. Very excited about this project.
All right. And I know you and your wife are both kind of fitness buffs, and you have the Mayor's Fitness Challenge every year. Kind of tell us, where's that program right now? How's it doing?
Well, she's a certified fitness instructor. I prefer to be a couch potato. But when you're married to someone who works out 6-7 days a week and wakes up at 5 a.m., they drag you along. And so I decided to drive the city along, drag the city along we have a mantra in our house called winter, where we live by, we try to live by water, we intermittently fast, we try to have nutrition on a daily basis and eat certain things that we should. We try to say no to things that we shouldn't as much as possible. You know, those fried foods and too much sugar, we try to do those in moderation. Exercise and rest. So the mantra is winter, and we take that and we infuse it into the Mayor's Fitness Initiative, which has been wildly successful. It's sold out every year with 125 to 150 of Daytona Beach residents, where we partner twice a week with our residents and fitness experts to work out in community centers, walk the bridge, go to One Daytona, use their fitness equipment. We oftentimes go to Advent, walk their trail, and basically show folks what they can do in Daytona Beach to exercise without having to pay. There's so many positive venues to work out in and to feel good about. And so every year is sold out, and such that our residents are asking us to do it twice a year. Yeah.
And there's another great program that the city offers, and it's called Citizens Academy. Kind of share with those who may not be familiar with Citizens Academy what that's all about.
It's one of the best aspects of our community, to be honest with you. Because when you live in a community, oftentimes you know that there's a lot going on, but you don't know exactly how much. You don't know how much city government is really operating to make Daytona Beach what I refer to as a great American destination. So Betty Goodman, one of my favorite city employees, assistant city manager, facilitates an opportunity for residents to get to know the various departments in Daytona Beach. Fire department, police department, wastewater, communications, all of the departments in Daytona Beach, the city manager's office. And you see what they do to make Daytona Beach a great city. And residents walk away from that, and recently we had a reunion because we've been doing it since 2009. And residents, so we had a reunion to show the updates and much of that has changed since 2009 to 2023. And residents are just blown away by how the wastewater plant works, how water gets from the plant to their house, how recycled water and what the police department does. It's amazing. And so residents love it, I love it, and I love seeing residents, and many of the people who come, it inspires them to get engaged in the community and to partner with us to do things to make the city more exciting.
And being called an academy is a perfect name because it really is a learning experience. It's like being in school. And you're seeing all the various components of the city and how they integrate and work together. And I think it's fabulous. I asked this of the commissioners, I'm going to ask you as well. You're a school administrator and you're the mayor of the world's most famous beach. You've got a private life and a public life. How do you kind of find balance between the two?
Well, as my children, I have 2 young children, as they get older, it becomes more of a challenge, to be honest. And I don't have hobbies, honestly. I love Daytona Beach. And so my hobbies are partnering with the city. I love literacy. So I take my children to things that are involved with literacy. I do like the arts. So I do frequent the Peabody. I partner with the Peabody Advisory Board. And I love exercise. So I coach and teach kids how to play basketball. I actually mentor kids who play basketball. I work with them every other Sunday, just teaching them the fundamentals of basketball and talking a little bit about life. So that way I'm able to partner and balance things that I do with my children with things that I like to do for the city. Of course, literacy is important. So, both my children are avid readers, and we push them to do that. And so we bring them along with all of that. My wife is a professional educator. So a lot of the things that we do, we just marry them into the city. And we consider ourselves to be stewards of Daytona Beach. And if you're going to be a steward of anything, you have to care about it. You have to be committed to it. And then the balance is, you find opportunities to get away and just to support one another as a family. As you know, my family has been long involved in Daytona Beach, but we just find ways to support each other and to do the things that we like as it relates to travel.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Mayor, you've been mayor for quite some time, and you've seen several iterations of the city commission. So with the current city commission, what do you see as really some of the strengths that this commission brings to the city?
Diversity is very, very diverse. 5 women, two males, good balance of African Americans, and one person born outside of the United States. So the perspectives that everyone brings, some people lifelong residents, some aren't. So you have that homegrown feeling, but you also have perspectives that come from other places. But all 7 people committed to Daytona Beach, and they all bring different issues that they're passionate about. It's always beautiful to see Commissioner Strickland committed to First Step Shelter. He volunteers in First Step Shelter. Commissioner Henry and reading, and uses that as a legacy. She's made sure that almost all of our elementary schools has a book vending machine. Commissioner Reed, and I can talk about all of our commissioners. She does an amazing job with seafood festivals and making sure that the festivals are operating. Commissioner Cantu, who's my commissioner, she's an awesome commissioner who gets around to the community neighborhood meetings in ways that blow me away, and her engagement with residents. Commissioner May and her partnerships at Bethune-Cookman and in Embry-Riddle, she makes certain to try to keep the colleges engaged in the community. So all of our commissioners, they just do a fantastic job. And Commissioner Parrish, who's new, she was a participant in the Citizens Academy, and watching her advocate for her residents with the reading benches or the book benches, knowing where to put them. And just, this is an amazing commission that I appreciate their commitment to the community, but the fact that we all come with different opinions and we don't always agree, but we do so in a civil and a cordial manner, and we realize that at the end of the day, everyone is here for a better Daytona Beach. And so I appreciate the commission that we have right now.
It's a great commission. So Mayor, look into your crystal ball and tell your constituents what you see for the future of the world's most famous beach.
Well, I see continued emphasis on making Daytona Beach a beautiful destination for residents and visitors. I see a more enlightened boardwalk area. And I'm just a person that's always real. Our beach is the greatest, prettiest, but our boardwalk needs an overhaul. And so our objective is to find ways to bring in more entertainment to our beach side. I see a more dynamic Main Street, and I see a city that continues to be attractive to residents and attracting people from all across America. I see young people from Bethune-Cookman to Embry-Riddle to Stetson to Daytona State staying closer and realizing that we have opportunities for them right here. Yeah. But most importantly, I think I see a Daytona Beach that continues to be welcoming, that continues to be a city that aspires and strives to be safe, and that works with our police and law enforcement and young people to make Daytona Beach the great American destination.
Well, Mayor, thank you so much for being on the program today. It's Meet Your Mayor today instead of Meet Your Commissioner, and we look forward to all of the great things that you're going to continue to do as our mayor. You've been watching this edition of Meet Your Commissioner. It's Meet Your Mayor today, and we have, I think, the greatest mayor anywhere in the United States. We hope you keep listening to Channel 490, Daytona Beach Television. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.